It's pretty rare at Clean My Space that we come up with a concept and it just keeps doing amazing. And you know what? That's our 10 things to toss today series, which is why today I'm going to share with you 10 more things for the fourth installment of things that you can toss today. Before we get to tossing, if you haven't done so, remember to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you plan on tossing things after you watch this. First up, canned food. I'm sure you have an old can of cream of something soup or some beans or wax beans. What even are those? Anyway, you can probably go through your cupboard and check for canned food that either you're not going to eat or that has expired. Yes, even canned food has a best before date. And once you sort through it, if the food doesn't need to be tossed, but you just know you're not going to eat it anymore, you can donate it at a drop-off center like a police station or a fire station. Even some grocery stores have drop-off boxes, so that's a great thing to do. And of course, if the food is expired, make sure that you dispose of it properly. Either way, I'm sure your cupboards will appreciate that little extra bit of breathing space once you get rid of your cans. And speaking of cans, when it comes to DIY stuff like using an old soup can to keep your pens or an old mason jar to keep some salty stuff, or even these candle jar collections that we've kind of made over the years, if you have a lot of DIY crafts or stuff in waiting that you have the best intentions to use but you never actually do use, it's time to get rid of those as well. Most of this stuff is recyclable, and what's really important is to just be honest when you're actually keeping the stuff in the first place. If you know you're not going to get to it or you don't really have a use for that candle jar, maybe just recycle it to begin with. And speaking of pens, I think my office could use a little bit of pen decluttering, because for those of you who don't know, I have a little bit of a pen obsession. And even if you don't have a pen obsession, which is totally natural by the way, according to me, you can probably do with getting rid of some of your pens. First thing you want to do is decide what are the pens that you constantly skip over, and what are the pens that you know maybe aren't working anymore, but you spent money on them. Trust me, they're never going to work again. Those are the pens that you really just have to say goodbye to. And the pens that you don't like so much, well, you can bring them to your office or you can donate them. But either way, you should only have pens that you love using and that actually work in your office. And when you're in your office, you should keep an eye out for any excess office supplies that you don't need. I don't know one human that requires this many paper clips, to be honest. And these came from my office. So even though they're in a cute container, there's no need for me to have 500 paper clips floating around. So sorting through your office supplies and deciding, what do I need? What do I not need? What did I think I would use, but I actually didn't use? The truth is that in one calendar year, you're going to use everything that you could possibly need to use in your office. So if you have an extra 500 paper clips and you only needed 12 that year, maybe you really don't need 500. So just get honest about it. Office supplies actually hog quite a bit of space. So once you can free yourself from the shackles of multiple office supplies, you'll feel a lot better. One office supply product you might have are thumbtacks, which you will often use to pin up your photos, which brings me to the next item that needs to be decluttered: old photos. And guys, let me tell you, I'm right there with you. I found a big old box of old photos, and honestly, they are embarrassing. I don't want anyone to see them. I don't even want to look at them. So the question is, why do I even have them? I shudder. I shudder to think what people would say if they saw these pictures. So why do I have them in my house? And I'm sure that you have some photos like that as well. So if you go through your pictures and you kind of have this reaction to a picture, put it in a pile. You never want to see it again. The world doesn't need to see it. You can shred those pictures, and that's going to slim down your photos quite a bit. And then for the pictures that you do like, you can have a smaller container for them. And a really cool thing that you can do if you don't want to have the physical photos anymore, or even if you do, you can just digitize your photos by scanning them into your computer. And that's a great way to hang on to the photos that are really meaningful to you without necessarily having to have a lot of clutter. And now that you've decided to digitize your photos, giving yourself an endless stream of TBT pictures, You can put them on your computer, but then what do? Now you might have a bunch of digital clutter. So the next thing you can do is go through your photos on your phone, on your laptop, in the cloud, and you can just get rid of any of the pictures that you don't want digitally either. That's something we don't often think about, but then we run out of space when we absolutely need it the most, and then we're left in this situation where we have to like last minute delete photos, and it's really heartbreaking. So just do yourself a favor, declutter some of your photos now and free up that space. And while we're at the computer, getting rid of any old computers or computer equipment, that's something that needs to be done as well. When we moved offices last year at Clean My Space, I think we had like 6 large computers that we just needed to get rid of. And you know what was holding me back? The fact that there was data on those computers. So I figured out a way to bust that data so that no one could ever access it again. And then I figured out how to either donate the computers that were still salvageable or dispose of them safely. Yes, there are safe disposal sites available. You can also take your computer back to the place that you purchased it. They can oftentimes wipe your hard drive, and then they can figure out a safe way to dispose it. But trust me, once you get rid of your old electronics, you start to find a lot of extra space in your home. You know what else you'll find a lot of? Wires, cords, cables, plugs, things that frankly I don't even know what these are. And to be honest, I'm not the cable hoarder in our house. That is totally a Chad thing. I mean, at least he knows what they are, but the truth is, sometimes you'll find cords and cables, you don't even know what piece of equipment they came from, and frankly, you don't even know if you can use them ever again. Well, at least I don't, and I'm certainly not going to spend the time to look it up. So here's what I think. If you have a piece of equipment and it has a cable and you're currently using it, cool, keep it. However, if you have a spare cable lying around and it's just hogging space, clearly you don't need it, and you're probably not going to need it anytime soon. Find a recycler, a responsible recycler, who will take them and do away with them properly. And you can find this list on the EPA's website if you're in the USA, or you can go on your government's website and find out a list of safe recyclers where you live. Going from cables to cable knits, your scarves are another thing that need to be decluttered as well. You know, cold weather, a lot of people say they love cold weather because they get to bundle up. I don't understand those people. But either way, in the winter, I have to bundle up. I've got to wear a lot of scarves because I'm always cold. Truthfully, there are an abundance of scarves in my house, and I'm willing to bet that if you live in an area with cold weather, you probably have a lot of scarves too, and there are some that you probably just favor over others. So if you have some scarves that have kind of fallen out of favor, now's the time to get rid of them, especially with spring being here now, and you can keep the scarves that you love and you can get rid of the ones that you don't. With seasonal changes, we often think about decorating for the holidays, and one of the things that you guys kept mentioning you needed to toss were old holiday decorations, and I can totally agree with that. We have some stuff that's definitely seen better days, or better holidays, should I say. Either way, go through the stuff that you kind of pick over and you're not so proud to display anymore. You know, everybody upgrades every year, a little bit here, a little bit there. So the old stuff or the broken stuff, that can go. And then that way, when you're decorating for the holidays, you're only showcasing your most beautiful stuff. It's been 1 month since this book has come out, and just to be clear, this is the copy you can get everywhere in the world except for in Canada, which is where you can get this copy. But you know what they say, guys, you don't judge a book by its cover, it's what's on the inside that counts. And both of these covers are beautiful, and the material inside is just the same. So if you're interested in learning more about the book, you can visit cleanmyspacebook.com. It has been getting outstanding reviews on Amazon and booksellers all over the world. You guys have been writing me and messaging me and showing me pictures with your book and saying, honestly, the nicest things. Like, I've almost cried a few times. I try to share some of this stuff on Instagram with you. So yeah, if you haven't picked up the book and you're thinking about it, definitely pick it up. You will love it. It is totally worth it. And I just want to thank you guys for all of your amazing support. This week's comment question is, what is it that you need to toss? Let me know in the comments down below, because we scour the comments. Scour, get it? Cleaning joke. and we try to find new things that we can put together in a new 10 Things to Toss video, because I think we're gonna keep going with this. You guys love it, we love it, it helps us clean our house. You know, we really don't need all of this stuff, so it's helpful for us too. It's like your own medicine, getting a little taste of your own medicine. There are 3 other videos in this series that you can check out, 10 Things to Toss 1, 2, and 3. There's a button down there that lets me know you care, so click it if you liked this video, and click this button right here to subscribe and begin your journey to a cleaner life. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.